The Addiesdive AD2505 is everything that Addiesdive stands for, and that is quality at a very budget price. So $80 before tax, and we get an automatic movement, synthetic sapphire crystal, all stainless steel, 120 click bezel, ceramic insert, and great luminosity. So we get a lumed bezel as well as the applied indices, the hands, and even the lollipop on the second hand. Everything is lumed, and the lume is bright, long lasting, and absolutely unbelievable for a price below $100. So yeah, I really want to tell you about this watch in detail. The affiliate link to the listing is in the description below the video. There you're going to find some additional discount codes and a link to my collection. So basically one place where all of the watches we've been discussing so far in September in one place. And now let's dive in and talk about this Addiesdive in detail. Let's do it. We start with the dimensions, and these are measured, not just the ones that you see on the listing. The case comes in at 40.6 millimeters in diameter, 13.3 millimeters thick without the Cyclops, 14.5 with it, and a substantial 53.1 millimeters lug to lug, all thanks to those protruding metal end links. The lug width is 20 millimeters, tapering down to 18 millimeters at the clasp, and the whole watch weighs 166 grams on this bracelet before removing any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. This is a diver through and through, and its design clearly draws inspiration from the subby. You see that wide stance, the almost squarish geometry of the lugs, and the balance of brushed and polished steel surfaces that give it both presence and refinement. Looking at the case flank, it's tall, flat, and fully polished. The transition to the brushed lug hoods is eased by smooth bevels, which keep the lines crisp without any harsh edges. The end links share that brush finish, so the integration between case and bracelet feels seamless. On top of the case sits a layered bezel design. The polished scallops of the 120-click unidirectional bezel catch the light, while the underside is brushed, adding contrast. The ceramic insert is deep black with beige-toned numerals and markings filled with lume, tying perfectly into the dial's luminous elements. Overhead, we get a synthetic sapphire crystal paired with a sapphire Cyclops. It's restrained, rising just over a millimeter above the crystal, so it magnifies without dominating the profile. On the right, there's a 6.9mm screw-down crown, semi-guarded, signed, and well proportioned to the case. Together with the screw-down case back, it anchors the watch's 200-meter water resistance. Unscrewing the crown is straightforward here. The deep, notchy threading bites immediately, and because of the crown's larger 6.9mm size, it feels secure and easy to grip. In the first position, hand winding the watch engages the Miyota 8215. It's a reliable movement, but its winding feel is more mechanical, slightly coarse compared to the buttery smooth action of an NH35. There's faint granular feedback through the crown, a reminder of its simpler gear train and unidirectional winding system. Pull the crown to the second position and you can quick set the date. The detent is firm with no wandering between clicks. Pull it further into the time setting position and the keyless works feel precise. The minute hand tracks exactly where you place it with no slop or drift, which is impressive at this price range. Once you're done, pressing the crown back and re-engaging those deep threads gives a solid, tactile threading motion. It's a reassuring seal that locks the watch down for its full 200 meters of water resistance. As much as I love this Addiesdive, I do feel that the bracelet is the weakest link. And it's not just this dive watch. With most Addiesdives, the bracelets are the weakest links. Let's go into it. The bracelet integrates neatly with the head of the watch, even though the male end links push the lug-to-lug out by 53.1 millimeters, the brushing on the lug hoods and the end links is nearly identical, giving a seamless transition. It's a 3-link design, fully brushed, which does a good job of disguising those inevitable hairline scratches from daily wear. Now, if you stretch the bracelet, you'll notice visible gaps between links. Tolerances are on the mediocre side, not the tightest in this price range. But in terms of link articulation and fluidity, it performs very well, draping smoothly across the wrist. The links are held together by push pins, nothing exotic but perfectly serviceable in this instance. The bracelet tapers down from 20 to 18 millimeters at the clasp, and the clasp itself is a double pusher secure design. Unsigned, and when you pop it open, you're met with a pressed wing. It's rudimentary but functional, and you still get 3 micro adjustment points to dial in the fit. Flip the watch over and you're met with a screw-down case back, fluted around the edges with basic specs engraved on the perimeter and the Addiesdive logo in the center. Now let's talk about the bezel, because this is really where the watch surprises. We've got a 120-click unidirectional bezel, and with Addiesdive, bezels can sometimes feel a little on the lighter side. That's true here as well, but it's not loose. It doesn't feel like a free turner. Instead, you get a very precise, evenly resisted rotation cycle. The detents are crisp and well defined. As you land on each index, there's that satisfying tactile confirmation. Even though the sound profile is muted, more of a dampened click than a loud snap. That comes down to the way the click spring and ratchet teeth have been engineered. Lighter preload on the spring, but very clean engagement. There's no backplay, which is excellent, though there is that very minor forward springiness between clicks. That's simply the spring tension releasing as the teeth settle into place. Perfectly normal, and it actually helps the bezel seat itself securely. From a user's perspective, it's an excellent bezel. The deep notched coin edge gives a lot of grip, and with a slight overhang above the polished case flank, it's very easy to manage, even with wet hands. Visually ties the watch together. The black ceramic insert is printed in warm beige tone, which complements the camo green sunburst dial, and the beige accents on the indices and hands. So the whole watch feels color-coded and intentional. And honestly, for a budget diver under $100, this is one of the better engineered bezels I've handled. And now let's talk about what makes this watch more special than ever, and that is this dial. It is gorgeous indeed. Now you can actually get it in black or in blue, but this camo green I think is the best. So it all starts with the crystal, and it's a flat slab of synthetic sapphire, beveled neatly at the edge where it meets the ceramic bezel insert. It's treated with anti-reflective coating, so at sharper angles you'll see those flashes of purple and green glint across the surface. A nice touch for both legibility and character. Sitting on top is the sapphire cyclops, which protrudes over a millimeter above the crystal. It will pick up knocks in daily wear, no question, but because it's sapphire crystal, you got the scratch resistance to back it up. Magnification here is closer to 2 times, not the traditional 2.5. But because the date window itself is framed, it actually enhances the sense of depth and precision when you glance at the date. It looks deliberate, not just stuck on. Let your eyes fall below the crystal, and they're guided by the brushed inward-sloping rehaut, leading into a beige minute track. The hour markers are applied, and Addiesdive has mixed shapes here. Chunky, irregular rectangles at 6, 9, and 12, elongated batons elsewhere, all edged in a bronze gold tone chrome. At 3 o'clock, instead of an index, you've got the framed date window. That beige-yellow frame ties right back into the lume plots, which themselves lean slightly creamy rather than stark white, a nod to vintage aesthetics. The handset continues the theme, with sword-style hour and minute hands, both filled with the same beige-tinged lume. The seconds pointer runs chrome, but terminates in a lumed arrowhead, making it easy to catch even in low light. What's interesting is the use of printed Arabic numerals at 6, 9, and 12. They work in a subtle symmetry with the date window at 3. You've effectively got a number at each quarter position, which balances the dial in a way that's unusual but clever. Despite the mix of applied indices, printed numerals, framed date, and text, the dial still feels open and well proportioned. That's largely thanks to the camo green sunburst finish, which throws out waves of light from every angle. Pair it with the black ceramic bezel, the beige bezel markings, and the gilt edging on the markers and the hands, and you've got a palette that feels complete without ever looking busy. I'm not joking. I really want to know what you think about this watch. Like the styling, the design, the components, the way it's been put together. Let me know in the comments below. Now, personally, I love this watch. I think it's just the perfect Addiesdive. So sub $100, we get basically everything we could want from a dive watch, and it's all put together really solidly. Is there such a word, solidly? Anyway, I think this is, the ideal Addiesdive. Let's call it that. A WesWatches ideal Addiesdive. Anyways, the affiliate link to the listing is in the description below the video. Do check it out if you're after a sharp price. Check out those discount codes and of course the link to my collection. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.